clickbait? You might think to yourself, now is that Swede trolling me right now? Yes, I am.
The irony here is that the neo-Marxists or that kind is actually the ruling class that he described, I would say.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yes, you are 100% correct, because what did he say? The history of the world is nothing but a series of class struggles. And that's all they've done, is they've replaced the bourgeois with the proletariat. And now the proletariat is now the bourgeois. It's just in a different way, but in the same way at the same time. In principle, all they've done is they wanted power, and so they took it over and made other proletariats who they are now in charge of. And that is the history of secular politics, that it will always be who has the biggest boot and the biggest gun or the biggest sword. And they go in as revolutionaries wanting to do things that maybe are right, and they have grievances, but then they always turn in, like Napoleon, they go in and they become emperors.
With emergency powers, like in Star Wars.
Yes.
Order! We shall have order!
It is with great reluctance that I have agreed to this calling. I love democracy. I love the Republic. The power you give me, I will lay down when this crisis has abated. And as my first act with this new authority, I will create a grand army of the Republic to counter the increasing threats of the separatists.
It is done then.
Yeah.
Emergency powers I will lay down. Yeah, you will.
For a safe and secure society.
In order to ensure the security and continuing stability, the Republic will be reorganized into the first galactic empire for a safe and secure society.
So this is how liberty dies. With thunderous applause.
Ooh, I lost my trail of thought there. Yeah, now I know. So the priests back in the days, no wonder that the working movement was like bitter at the priesthood, because the priest was the voice of the king, pretty much.
Yeah.
Because we had a state church. They were the pulpit. They were the speaker of power.
Yeah.
Right. So Marx talks a lot about the struggle for the means of production, and now we live in the information society. We still need stuff. We still have to make stuff, but we talk a lot about like post-industrialism and whatnot, and it's an information society. So now there's a struggle about the means of production of information.
Yeah. Oh, right? Yes, you're right. Yes.
And so who holds the keys here? Who is the priesthood?
It is the dawning of an age where we need to repent your bigotry, repent your phobias, cast down ableism and cast down sexism. You know, the Church of Woke is just like any other church, except our God is intersectionality and our devil is intolerance. Thou shalt not listen to the fiery bigotry contained within podcasting. Now, just like some of the other churches, we believe that blasphemous ideas that cause dissent to our cause should be removed. Remove problematic language from your vocabulary. We're actually doing a book burning later. I mean, we have Harry Potter, Jordan Peterson's 12 Rules for Life, which is basically our Salvador Rusty's The Satanic Verses. Just sacrilege. A goal of mine would be to get a little closer to Islam's influence. I mean, when they tell you not to make a cartoon, people listen. Dismantle the patriarchy. Never let opposing viewpoints stifle your faith. While religious mothers of the past have had their sights set on deplatforming Howard Stern, we're more focused on the new generation's Howard Stern. Hello, hello! We've sort of designed it to be a bit of an echo chamber. I mean, if our viewpoint can take us to the promised land, should we not try anything in our power to get there? This is one of our many Bibles. Cast down the vile comedy of Andrew Dice Clay! And though other religions in the past have gained control of the printing press to stop the spread of misinformation, we've seized control of the social media platforms. It is not enough to not be ableist. You know, this is the booth where you confess anything like sexist thoughts, phobias. It's not anonymous, and we've actually removed about 20,000 members after learning of their impurities. But while some other religions allow you to repent and ask for forgiveness, we prefer you to repent in the form of a formal apology, and then we cast you out anyway. It is time to recognize your internal bigotry, your internal Islamophobia.
Who holds the keys here? Who is the priesthood that tells the people what to think and
would be the
why
media.
not rebel in certain ways?
Yeah, that would be the media. I mean,
the big corporate media,
yeah,
and that would be the independent fact checkers. How independent are they?
They're all owned and work for the very people that they're fact checking for. They did that with the certain thing that shall remain unnamed that we don't want to get the video taken down for, but a certain thing that circled the world for the last couple of years and made a bunch of people sick. And then the very people who were working on that in a certain place, in a certain country, were the ones fact checking, saying, nope, we didn't do that. And we're independent fact checkers. Right.
Yeah.
And then all the stuff comes out and they get hacked and, oh yeah.
Because they are independent of, they are independent of the people. We have a unelected ruling class of owners.
Yes. Yep.
That kind of,
Yeah, we have I mean, you do. That's like what a lot of people call globalists, because they're all in different places all over the world, and they're all like the Davos group. They're all wanting to do things to reshape the world in the way they see fit, and it's because they think it's good. It's good for them.
This village here, but instead of a church, something else.
Yeah, instead of a church, it's
You want to create like an unreachable puritanical standard, keep them on their toes. Truth be told, I'm actually against organized religion, which is why I make a point of our ideas being very unorganized. Some churches say everyone's a sinner. I mean, we think everyone's a bigot. Thou shalt not appropriate. Thou shalt not use another's identity in vain. Now, some people try to say the Church of Woke isn't a real religion, but Durkheim defined religion as a unified system of beliefs and practices relative to sacred things, that is to say, things set apart and forbidden. And we're doing our best to fulfill that requirement. And thou shalt put their pronouns in their bio. Right now, we're working on having our beliefs intertwined with the state. Get our teachings into schools, workplaces, the rule of law, sort of the unification of the state and woke. It is time for you to shut your mouths and listen, but it is also not my job to educate you. You want to confuse them a little bit so they just stop thinking and defer to you on everything? One day I'd love to have one of those super churches we get to smash all the girls. Those guys are living. I'm thinking about doing like a reading of the ADL's new ads so they know who to stay away from. The Christian church has reigned supreme in America for far too long. Now it's our turn, and the woke crusades will take place on the internet. And cast down homophobia. When I do it live, the guy on stage faints, everyone cheers. It's like a whole thing.
So that's what he was right about, but to not send you away happy and smiling, we want to take a look at the Marxist vision of utopia and the way there, and end on a very dark tone because it's proper.
Yeah.
And this will not be like exactly applicable today, because today it's not really the state. It's something. It's more like a corporate network of
dystopian, futuristic merger of
but
fascistic government corporate people.
It's more like the establishment. It's hard to define, but as a general view, let's see the way to utopia.
Yeah.
These measures will of course be different in different countries. Nevertheless, in the most advanced countries, the following will be pretty generally applicable. 1. Abolition of property in land and application of all rents of land to public purposes. 2. A heavy progressive or graduated income tax. 3. Abolition of all right of inheritance. 4. Confiscation of the property of all emigrants and rebels. 5. Centralization of credit in the hands of the state, by means of a national bank with state capital and an exclusive monopoly. 6. Centralization of the means of communication and transport in the hands of the state. 7. Extension of factories and instruments of production owned by the state, the bringing into cultivation of waste lands, and the improvement of the soil generally in accordance with a common plan. 8. Equal liability of all to labor, establishment of industrial armies, especially for agriculture. 9. Combination of agriculture with manufacturing industries, gradual abolition of the distinction between town and country, by a more equable distribution of the population over the country. 10. Free education for all children in public schools, abolition of children's factory labor in its present form, combination of education with industrial production, and etc., and etc.
I think we're done right now with communism, aren't we?
I've been done with communism for a long time, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, but do you think we got the things across that needs to?
Yeah, I think so. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I want to say. All right, so that's another episode of Patriot X Freedom Radio with Comrade Karl and Comrade PATHOS. May the workers of the world unite. And I'm joking. Kind of. I mean, in a different way. So
yeah, why not?
Yeah, why not? I mean, if it's in Canada, we like that.
I'm here in solidarity with every Canadian. This is not about mandates. This is not about saving lives. This is about control. They are destroying lives. You see, we are teachers. We are trackers. We are nurses. We are Canadians.
Now and then the workers are victorious, but only for a time. The real fruit of their battle lies, not in the immediate result, but in the ever-expanding union of the workers.
Yeah, so, until next time, guys, we love you guys. May the Lord bless you and keep you, and stay metal.
The Lord is my shepherd. I shall not want for nothing. He makes me lie down in the green pasture.
Part of my philosophy is much more libertarianism. Well, that's the fashionable word these days, I guess. A conservative is no longer just that. He's a libertarian. Always has been. Because how do we call a liberal? Someone very profoundly once said many years ago that if fascism ever comes to America, it'll come in the name of liberalism. And what is fascism? Fascism is private ownership, private enterprise, but total government control and regulation. Well, isn't this the liberal philosophy?
Who gave their lives to stop the advance of the Nazis didn't die in vain. Where then is the